Greetings everyone! Welcome back! Today we are going to be cooking something very delicious. Something I've been making for years, but now I get to share the recipe with you. Today we are going to make chicken Alfredo. And as a specialty, because I'm going to be cooking for a guest, I will be putting a little bit of broccoli in there too. None on mine, please and thank you. So the first thing, as usual, is we're going to want to wash our hands. Don't have to worry about it too much because we're going to be handling raw meat and then we're going to wash our hands again. So that's going to be the first thing that we're going to do right here is we want to get started on our chicken right away. So we have a chicken breast and I do want chicken strips, but I want you to try to cut them fairly thin. We're not talking paper thin. Don't try to cut them as thin as possible, but just remember that they should be, you don't need more than maybe 15 slices at the most, but you at least need 8 or 9. So we're going to get started on that, and that's going to be the very beginning of our recipe, because as soon as the chicken starts, everything is on. The heat is on. Things are ready to go, and this recipe does not take very long to complete. So there we have it. Our chicken is already sliced, and that is the only need that we ever had for the knife in the first place. So now we can go ahead and rinse our fingers and get rid of all the chicken from there. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab ourselves just a little bit of butter. We don't need a whole lot of butter in the pan, so just a forkful. There we go. That was a forkful of butter on a knife. How about that? Just showing you that you can think outside the box sometimes. So go ahead and get rid of this. Grab our chicken with our hands that we just cleaned, and we're going to put this right onto the stove, and we're going to put it onto medium-low heat. So there's our medium-low heat, and we're going to turn on a pot of water as well. So it's cold water, but it's going to start boiling eventually. Meanwhile, don't worry, you're just about to steam this. It's going to get all decontaminated. We're going to take our broccoli, and we're going to rip off just a few of these. Now you want them to be a decent size, I guess. I don't really know how to eat this stuff. I'm just making it just 'cause. And they seem to come in really convenient little trees. So there we go. Honestly, I don't think we need this much. So that's garbage. We don't need that anymore. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn on our steamer. And the broccoli is going to steam until everything's done. Let's give it a final garnish. So however long that is, that's how long it's going to steam for. So I'm going to move our butter out of the way. Oh, by the way, you may have noticed that I did not spice up my chicken. The only thing that you're going to spice this up with is a little bit of garlic powder, which we're going to put on right now. And the reason that we're not putting any magical paprika, any delicious poultry seasoning, any exotic combination of basil and oregano onto our chicken is because this is Alfredo sauce. We want the whiteness of the Alfredo sauce to encompass our cooking, to make it super special. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a cup of 18% cream. I'm going to put it right there. We're going to take approximately half a cup of butter. I used imperial margarine. There's not a huge amount of difference here. And I'm going to put that into a mixing bowl as well. And, this is going to be a very interesting thing because we're actually going to cook our chicken into our sauce, but the chicken needs a head start. So we go ahead and we've started this off. Next, we're going to take full flavor Philadelphia cream cheese, a full brick of it. And this is going to make the base of our Alfredo sauce. I promise you, this recipe is absolutely delicious. And once you've made it once, you're probably going to test it. And you're going to love it so much that you will make it when you have lady friends over. There is nothing better than having a lady friend over when you've made yourself something this good. When you're serving delicious food, you always want to have someone to share it with. Like they call them a guest, but we all know what that means. So we'll take that, put that there as well. We're going to want to garlic that up. There we go. Remember, always garlic powder, not garlic salt. If you want salt in your recipe, you can add your own salt. Make sure that all the cream goes in there. Give your hands a quick rinse off. And we're going to take some Parmesan cheese, and you're going to put a lot. More than that. It's kind of stuck. That's fine. We're going to garnish it with more at the end anyway, so yeah, that's quite a bit, but we're going to want some more in there. So I'm going to put this right here into my mixer, but since it's a little loud, I'm not going to mix it just yet. We're going to take our cheese. Oh yeah, and some pepper. There. Just a sprinkle. You never know how much pepper people want, so never do overkill. I've got a miniature sized brick of cheese. Just remember that the mozzarella cheese is not the hero in this recipe, but it does help. It's quite delicious. And we're killing time while the chicken is catching up and getting ahead. So as you may have noticed, I didn't have any 18% cream, so I just used some creamers. In case anyone's wondering, there are 27 empty creamers in front of me, and that approximated 1 cup, so that's what I went with. If you want to add any extras to this recipe, go for it. I'm not a big fan of vegetables, as you may have noticed, but if you are, or your guest is, most importantly, your guest, you go ahead and feel free to indulge them. You can put some colorful stuff in there, whatever it is that you enjoy eating. There we go. This is going to be our final garnish. We're not going to be cooking any of this mozzarella into our dish itself. It's just going to be the final huzzah at the end. We're just going to toss it on there and let it melt. It makes a nice aroma, it looks pretty, etc. So there we go. We have all of our cheese shredded up here. And really, the only thing left that we have to do is going to be to mix this. Now, I'll see you guys in about 2 minutes, I guess, because I'm going to mix this, and then we're going to get back to the stove. And the mixing is complete. So what we're going to do is we're going to lift this up, and as usual, quick steam at the end. Get everything cleaned off of these beaters here. We're going to pull this out. Grab ourselves a spatula, and all we're going to do is our chicken, if we cut it thin enough, should already be white all over. Pretty well cooked. So we're going to add this delicious formula to our pan. And in it goes. In it goes. Okay. And right now, what we're going to have to do is stir that constantly, and we're going to bring it to about a boil. So now we're going to turn up the heat on our chicken to a solid medium. If you're really committed to stirring it, you can turn it up to a medium high. While you're doing that, it's going to cook your chicken thoroughly. It's going to bring everything up to a boil, and then it's going to settle it back down because we're going to turn it down and simmer it. Meanwhile, our broccoli is still steaming, and our water is just about to boil here. So, as soon as this comes to a boil, and we're going to start simmering it, right? And when that happens, that's when the tortellini noodles go in. Now, I do want you to know that you can use any kind of noodles that you want. I personally am using cheese tortellini, but if you want to use just regular old spaghetti, you can. Don't do it, it's not exotic. I suggest some sort of very large noodles so that they have to use a cut tool. Like a knife! Like a knife, everyone! So, jumbo raviolis filled with cheese, and then they have to, stab with the fork. Sorry, let's do this nice. Stab with the fork like this. You do the casual cutting with the other hand like that. That makes for a really exotic meal when you have to use both hands. Have you ever noticed that? You can tell how elegant a meal it is based on how far away you get from using one hand. Using one hand, not very elegant. Using two hands, very elegant. Using hands without any utensils at all, also very elegant. So, more than one utensil, elegant. Less than one utensil, elegant. Alright, so I will see you guys after we're taking the noodles out of the boiling water. Tortellini noodles that I'm using right now are all ready. So we're going to take them and we're just going to strain them. There we go. That's up. It's a little hot, but whoop, there we go. That's all of them. Get them into the strainer. Get everything strained out. Now this is going to be our guest plate. So try to make everything really, really nice. Oh, we have a... There we go. Now remember what I said about leftovers. Always try to have just a little bit of leftover, which is exactly what we have here. We're gonna make this look all pretty, especially the guest. There we go. And now the trick to this is going to be that we're going to take a very simple meal and we're going to make it look pretty. There we go. So this is our Alfredo sauce. This is the star of the meal. So we're going to go ahead and the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to drizzle that right on top. You know what? I like the look of this one better. So that's going to be the guest one right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a bit of chicken here. And we're going to take another strip of chicken right here. And I'm going to grab another stick of chicken right there. And we can go ahead and throw some chicken on ours too. There we go. No problems there. I'm going to place that on the stove. There's our broccoli. Here's our cheese and everything. Okay, so here's mine. There we go. Throw some pepper on there. A little bit of Parmesan. Grab some of this cheese. Bam, there we go. Now here's the one that needs to look pretty. Remember your layering. The cheese actually needs to be melted properly. So we're just gonna drizzle it on top of everywhere that we put some sauce. Just like that. There we go. And just tap some pepper on there, not too much. And the Parmesan is just gonna go on the outskirts like that. Looking good, looking good. And we're gonna take our broccoli. Now, I don't know how people eat this stuff, so we're just gonna put it there. And I guess the main thing is that it looks pretty. So let's put all the trees facing the middle. There we go. These are exceptionally soft. And I see this in the commercials sometimes, so let's go ahead and put just a little bit of cheese on top of the broccoli too. And if we let this sit before we serve it, the cheese is likely going to melt right into our broccoli as well. Aha! There we go! A dinner for one exotic lady has been served, and of course we have our plate right here as well. I recommend serving with a fork, but like I said, if you're serving this and it's raviolis, you may need to serve a fork and a knife. You might also want to try some garlic bread on the side. And bon appetit!